All right, good day. We joined this program already in progress. So welcome. Glad to have you back. And before I get going, I'd like to thank my sponsors, all of you guys that are tuning in and subscribed over the last couple of months. It's a relatively new channel, started in March. And, really it's just to kind of chronicle this sort of stuff. And really it's a video archive so that when I have to do this in 8 or 10 or months or years ish with the other Jeeps, I'll know exactly how to do it. I'm hoping that I don't ever have to do this again, but it's good to have a visual reference. So anyway, moving right along. I've already taken the seat out and got the Jeep jacked up off the mounts, and the body mounts are out. And I'm kind of glad that I did that because this one body mount that was in the middle, it's kind of jacked up. It's actually bent. So I've gone ahead and ordered a new one of those. So when I put this all back together, it's not sitting wonky. Don't want to have that. So the goal for tonight, because it's a weeknight, is to get the rest of this torque box off. And if I'm feeling particularly spicy, I might grind off all the welds and get everything cleaned up. And I do have some weld through primer so that we can get it all cleaned up and get ready to mount the new torque box on. So I'll bring you in and show you kind of what we're looking at here. So again, I'm going to try and do a bunch of these welds from the top. So there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one there, and then I don't think there's any more. And then down in here, there's one here, there's one on the bend right here, there's another one here, and I think there's another one right here. I'm going to try and drill these out. Odds are I'll be able to pry it, but I'll just get them done. Now I'm going to have to get the ones that are underneath here from the bottom. And then going back here, same thing. There's one here that I can get to. I don't think there's any more here. There's another one here that I can get to, and one over here, and I think one here. So I'm gonna get these ones from the top just because they're easier. And then these, they filled this with seam sealer, these Torx to get the roll bar bolts out. And unfortunately, those bolts go through the torque box underneath. So I gotta heat that stuff up and get those heads cleaned out so that I can get the torque box off. And then when I put the new one on, those are gonna be my lining upper holes. So when I put the new torque box under, I'll get those bolts started, and then that'll help line up the torque box to get it to where it's gonna be in its final resting place. So I'm gonna, again, I said I was trying to keep these videos 10 to 20 minutes, and the last two have been almost 30. So I'm gonna kind of snippet this up a little bit because you don't want to sit here and watch me work. There's really no point in that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drill all these out, and then when I get the torque box ready to drop out, I'll pull you back and kind of show you the progress, and then we'll go from there. All right, so have a snack, watch some football that you may have missed on the weekend. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so now let me get you positioned. It's all over, but the crying, thanks to all this seam sealer that's packed in here. I don't even know. It's bad. I'm hoping I can get it all out. So As you can see, I got to get these two unclogged. So that's my mission for now. Let's get these opened up here, put a little heat to it. So that grumbling that you hear is my neighbors upstairs moved out. We got some carpet layers in there ripping out carpet. And now they just started their truck that has zero exhaust on it. I really got to work on this because if I don't get this out, the odds of me stripping these are very, very, very high. Oh, I got it. Oh, yay. One down, one to go. Oh, yes. Okay. All right, so let's recap. I got all the bolts out, well, the 2 bolts, and I've drilled out all the plug welds all the way up and down, except for 2 that I can't reach because of the body mounts. So what I'm going to attempt to do now is just kind of get this thing off and then see if I can either chisel those away or what I need to do to get that free. Come on. I don't know where to get in here to where I can see. Well, that weld should have popped pretty easy. Come on. Okay, let's give. Oh, I don't want to bend that. Crap, I don't want to bend that. Oh, did I miss one here? Oh, I missed 2. Life of a dad, 1. Torque box, 0. Wow, went all 28 round quarters, halves, touchdowns. What a fight. What a fight. But the hole saw thing that I bought, I don't even know where it is. It's just utter chaos and carnage. It worked good, honestly. For the, I think I paid, I don't know, $28 for it, and it comes with 10 bits. I burned through a few of them and broke them just because I wasn't using the oil because I was drilling from the bottom up. I mean, I was probably a little harder on them than I probably should have been. But if you're only doing like one of these and maybe doing, 30 holes, fantastic. If you're doing a whole bunch of them, yeah, upgrade and buy I think they're called a Blair bit. Buy the good kit that you pay good money for. But for what I'm doing, the price was kind of right. So now, basically what I got is a bunch of cleanup to do. So you can see all in here, it's all where I drilled with the hole saw, it kind of sticks down. I'm trying to follow along here. It kind of sticks down. So I got to clean all of these up. but I'll just hit it with the grinder and make kind of short work. You can see some of the bigger holes that I did because the body mount was in the way. So I couldn't get a drill bit in there. So I ended up just using basically an English wheel and, you know, those really fancy metal tools. And what I mean by that is a sledgehammer and a chisel. So at the end of the day, the torque box is all out, and I'm glad I did this way instead of, you know, half rear-ending it, because as you can see, if I get this in the light right, let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. So you can see there's some good bends in it, kinks from where the accident was. And it pretty much goes all the way to the rear body mount. Now, could I have cut it here? Yeah. You know, I wouldn't have had to take out the roll bar bolts, and it would have saved me about 10 welds to cut out. But at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do. Like I said, it was a fight. It got me to the bitter end, but it's done, and it's done right now. So now we can go on and kind of get this done, start assembling. I think what I'm gonna have to do now is, I don't really want to notch this while I got this supported the way that I do, but I'm gonna have to take out a small piece of it because there's no way I'm gonna get the torque box in where it needs to go because it'll all be wonky. So I'm gonna have to cut this out and then use my fancy metalworking tools that I bought and straighten this out, clean up this edge, and then start assembling it and start getting it all back together. So, you know, my mom can attest that I'm really good at ripping stuff apart. If you talk to her, she'll probably even tell you. Getting them back together is a whole different story. But don't call my mom, because she'll probably remember stuff from like 1984 when her toaster didn't work anymore and she couldn't figure out why. I just don't want her to remember and have her chasing me around with a yardstick. So we'll just keep that under wraps. All right, wardrobe change. It was hot. And after I finished the torque box, I really felt like I went 0.478 seconds with Mike Tyson in his prime. And I even got the battle wounds to prove it. So, you know, these people that want to fight Mike Tyson, you know, he could be dead and encased in concrete and put in the ocean, and I probably still wouldn't even entertain that idea. Dude's a beast. Okay, anyway, I must be getting delirious. So now I'm just going to finish this off to wrap this part, whatever we're on, 6, 5, 7-ish. I'm going to grind these all off, and then I'm going to cut out this piece here that I need to try and straighten out to get the torque box in. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So bear with me a second while I get the creeper out and get this done. I should probably clean up. Nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather just trip and stumble over everything. Make things take 4 times as long. Seems like a good idea. I don't know. Okay, it hasn't really been that long, really, and I got a little rambunctious. I got all the welds ground down, or the spot welds all ground down to flush. That only took about 15 minutes. Honestly, it was just a quick zip, 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 zip. Got them all done. I got this edge all off and cleaned up. I kind of got a little crazy with the zip disc when I took this off, and I actually cut the seam here, but it's not a big deal. I can just get the seam sealer off, and then we'll just stitch weld that kind of back together. But I did get this end cleaned up. Here, let me bring you along. I did get this edge all cleaned up now. I kind of straightened it all out. I put a 2x4 behind it and then just kind of massaged it with the sledgehammer. There's a slight little tear here from when I was reefing on it, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, I'll just grind off this seam sealer, and when we put the other end one on, I'll stitch it up and then we'll re-seam seal it. It's also tore down here. This was all bent, but I again wedged a 2x4 underneath it and then just hit it from the top with the massaging tool, and got it pretty decent. There will be a little bit more to do here, but I'm not going to really stress too much about it. It's inside the Jeep. It's tucked in. As long as the floor pan goes in and it lines up real good, then you know, this really doesn't matter. I'm going to probably buff this off and put some weld through primer on it, and then we'll paint it after we're all done and seam seal all that, so you won't even know that it's there. But here's the new torque box. So it's all in. I put the 2 bolts in for the roll bar back there. I just kind of zipped them in real fast. I didn't really torque them down too much. I just kind of tightened them. You can see they're a little off from where they were, and there's a simple reason for that, and that is right here. So if you remember in the other video, one of the other videos, I was talking about this being different from the original. The other torque box, I think I kept calling it the floor pan, but it's actually not. It's the torque box that came, and then it had a little buckle like this, and then it zooted in and then welded on the back side. This one actually comes straight across, and then this is where your side panel will weld basically onto it once I get all this back in. So the reason why that's pushed back is because there's actually a nutsert that's welded on here, and it's pushing the floor pan. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably notch this out to get around that nut, which isn't the end of the world. Again, we'll just weld through primer it, and then what I actually have is some spray foam insulation, the expanding kind. I'll put that in there and get that all kind of cleaned up. So, because the big thing is this actually has to push over. It's actually out of the Jeep too far. And it's really important that this lines up, because this edge has to line up with this edge so that all this side panel will go together. And I dinged this. Dang it! Another thing I'll have to kind of straighten out. Again, not the end of the world. I got some flat vice grips that'll straighten that right out. So that's gonna, I think, wrap it up for this guy. There's really not much left to do from the prep work standpoint. I'm just gonna cut out the floor. I got to get the new body mounts in. I'm gonna drop it onto the torque box once I get it all kind of lined up, put all the weight on the Jeep on it. That should soak up the slack that's under here, and then we can get ready to plug weld it. I'm gonna drill some holes all up and down here for the new plug welds, because I'll do it from underneath, and then we'll weld through primer it and make sure that it's all done upright. So it's coming, slow but sure. All right, thanks. Stick around, and we'll see you on the next one.